My 1999 SVT Cobra Mustang is back, sort of. Unfortunately, I was able to confirm that this car does not have a functioning fourth gear. It commands the shift, but just revs up just like it's in neutral. Now, this is definitely a bummer, but considering what I've been through with this car, like when there was a metal clip stuck underneath an intake valve or multiple oil filters that just wanted to blow up all over the place, well, and even before that, it's rat's nest of wiring that I had to completely redo. After all that, I'm just not too worried. I'm sure it won't take all that much work to get this transmission to shift, right? Now, since this car has an aftermarket dipstick and transmission pan, I didn't trust the level. Plan A was playing around with different amounts of fluid, which didn't do anything at all, so since Plan A, or Plan Alex, didn't work, we need to keep going to get this thing to shift, no matter what. So we are gonna go to Plan B, which is removal of the trans pan, probably the valve body, and we're gonna poke around a bit in there, see what we can see. Fluid still looks good though. All right, and go around taking out the transmission and bolts. I've already soaked these two because they were a little rusty. So far, so good though. So something I read about in researching issues with fourth gear on this transmission is that there is a servo in there and a clip that can just straight up break, and then you won't have fourth, which is what we have. So I'm kind of hoping for that. Only downside is sometimes when the clip breaks, it takes out the case of the transmission, and then you basically need a new transmission. Something else I've considered is I haven't done a service on this yet, so the filter, you know, is 20-something years old. So did the filter come apart? Did it break? Did it fall into this deep pan and it's not sucking fluid up properly? Lots of possibilities. Okay, well, all the bolts are out. You know, this thing is just gonna... Oh, all right, wasn't bad. Just need a little screwdriver love right there. I put some bolts in to keep it from falling. Okay, yeah, the filter's there. That's good. I gotta say, everything in here looks really great. I mean, we don't have any chunks of anything. There is no clutch material. That's a good sign. I mean, could just be an electrical issue. We know it's commanding the fourth gear. I can see that in the computer. What if the solenoid's bad? Lots of possibilities. All right, let's get dirty. I gotta say, for having an aftermarket deep pan that holds 3 extra quarts, this looks like the factory filter, doesn't it? Oh my gosh, okay. I knew I was gonna get dirty. At least it's nice, clean transmission fluid. It's got detergent in it. It's basically like giving yourself a bath. I've done an inspection on the harness that I can see here, and it looks great. I'm gonna go ahead and unclip all of these. The last one, there we go. Okay, so we get the harness up out of the way. Now she's free to come down. Okay, we have about 400 screws to get out. And this one, we gotta save and not lose. We're gonna pull these shift solenoids out, and this one too. There we go. Hidden bolt right there, look at that. This should do it. There we go. Okay, yeah. Always leave a bolt in there so you can kind of drain it down. Good thing I got this really awesome smartwatch. I'm sure that's gonna be real accurate now. Oh geez, why didn't I take this off? That's gross. And of course I got like the cloth band, so that just soaked in. My bad. Smartwatch, not so smart anymore, are you? I'm gonna take the smartwatch off now, that'll help. All right, here we go. The valve body is down. So this is the snap ring that will fall out, and this is the overdrive servo. And if that happens, you won't have fourth gear. There's a pin on the inside here that hits the band. So I'm gonna take this down and just inspect. We're right here. Pull this snap ring in. There we go. We're gonna lose a little bit more fluid. So here is the pin, and here is the lip seal, which any of this could be bad. Would cause no fourth. The seal looks to be in great condition. I don't believe that is our issue, but I also don't believe that this is a normally worn out transmission. If the clutches were simply worn out, there would be material at the bottom of the pan, and ours is spotless. It's super clean. So I do think we have an issue with the control side of the transmission, which could be electrical, or it could be right here in the valve body. So let us disassemble this valve body and see what we can see. All right, hang on. Before we keep going, I have to let you guys know about a blowout Memorial Day sale from Avalon King. I just got off the phone with them. I convinced them to give us early access because this stuff always sells out. This is the Super Complete Armor Shield 9 DIY ceramic coating kit. The kit comes with everything you need to coat your entire car, including the wheels and glass. You can do this in about an hour and a half, I'll show you. But normally one of these kits is $75, and right now you are going to get 2 for $99. So a massive savings. This will sell out. All you gotta do is click on my link, and for the first 100 of you who order, you're gonna get a free Psycho ceramic detail spray. This will give you about 3 months of protection. It takes like 5 minutes to apply, and these are normally $40. The first 100 of you are gonna get one for free. Now, the Armor Shield 9 ceramic coating kit is awesome. I've been using it now for about 5 years on almost every single one of my cars. And what the ceramic coating does is it fills the pores of your clear coat, forming an invisible shield, protecting it from the elements and making the surface super hydrophobic, so water and dirt just beads right off. And this lasts for years, not months like wax. It'll also bring out a deep glossy shine to your paint, making your car look much newer. And it's one of the best trim restoration products on the market. Don't bother buying anything else. If you have faded plastic trim, just wipe some of this on. It'll make it look brand new. I haven't coated my new daily driver. It's pretty dirty. So we're just gonna do a normal car wash. We'll give it a rinse, and then we'll foam it up. Little wash mitt action, another rinse. After your car's dry, just wrap the applicator cloth onto the pad like that. Add a few drops of your ceramic coating and simply wipe it on, just like this. And you can do a pretty large section at a time. So we'll do about a quarter of this hood. Now you wait 60 seconds and you can see exactly where you've coated, so you don't have to worry about missing a spot. And then simply just wipe off with a microfiber and you're done. It's the next day, the ceramic coating is dry, and look at how good my Taurus looks. The paint just pops now. So remember how the water just stayed on the hood before? Watch this, just beads away now, gone. So you can imagine now that this beads off easily, your car will stay cleaner for longer. So check out the link down below, it's limited. Back to the Cobra. And I'm gonna make marks on some of these plates because I think they can go on multiple different ways. And you can see here, these do flow fluid in a certain direction, so we don't wanna mess that up. Just make it a little scribe. Okay, last one on there. And this plate will now come off. Oh, wait a minute, one more bolt. Now it'll come off. And there's another gasket. Now the brains of the operation. So what I'm looking at are these shift valves to make sure that none of them are stuck or damaged. There's not a piece of something in them. And there's also little balls right here, so don't just go and flip your valve body over, you'll lose those. Unless you have a diagram, you'll never know where they go. So I'm just looking over all the shift valves, making sure all the springs are intact. They should move freely like that, just like this here. And right here, this is the 3 to 4. And okay. Doesn't move as much, but that could be normal. I'm gonna pull the snap ring out like that. There we go. Okay, so here's our spring and the valve. It looks pretty normal to me. Great, no smoking gun there. And here is the rest of the valve we can take a look at. Yeah, looks really nice. No gouging, no nothing. Very clean fluid too. Okay, put this all back together. I don't think this is the issue. Okay. We're back. All right, let's keep going, guys. Right now I'm gonna do an ohms test on these two shift solenoids that should be between 20 and 30 ohms. Okay, 24.6, and we'll move to the other one, 24.6, okay. So these are ohming out, okay. Now because the servo that we removed has to do with the overdrive or 4th gear, let's bore a scope in there, see what we can see. All right, here we go. What do we have inside? Whoa. What is that right there? That looks like a snap ring that broke off. What? Yeah, you can even see a little line there on the case maybe where it scratched it. That is not normal. Yeah, look at that. I think that's a snap ring, yeah. Okay, all right. That looks like a smoking gun to me, guys. That looks like a snap ring that has just fallen out of place or possibly broken. Unfortunately, that would be internal to the transmission. We can't get to that with anything we've taken apart right now. So what does that mean? That means we're removing the transmission. All right, first things first is we have our shifter linkage, 13 with a couple of washers. pop that down. And we'll pop the cable out completely. There we go. Well, this was super fun. I got the starter loose. It took me about 20 minutes just to get to the top bolts, but yeah, some stuff is impossible to film, but just imagine my hand crammed in there like this, hurting.
I better use my strong hand.
For like 20 minutes, going like an 1/8 turn at a time, but we did it. Starter's loose. Now we are going to turn the crankshaft, and look at that, right in the center. That is a torque converter bolt. There we go. There's one. We have the 3 starter bolts out and all 4 converter bolts. Next, we have a drive shaft to remove. Okay, these were a nightmare before, but they, haven't been in that long. This car hasn't really been used much since I put it all back together because of, well, numerous issues. Last drive shaft bolt coming out. Oh, it's so much easier than the last time. There we go. Drive shaft's out. We got the cross member and bell housing bolts. I've reinstalled a few bolts on the trans pan so that the transmission can rest on our trans jack. And now we can pump this guy up. I want to support the transmission so we can remove that cross member and then lower the transmission slightly. It helps with getting to the bell housing bolts. Okay, now we can go down with the transmission. Even just that little bit right there will give us more room to get to the bell housing bolts in there. Extensions and swivels will definitely be your friend whenever we're moving a transmission. I got the one above that. It was pretty difficult. And for those, you typically have to use really long extensions. I had this one on there too. Okay, I've got all the bolts out. It's breaking loose. Okay, off the dowels. All right, trans coming down. We got trans cooler lines that are a lot easier to do when we get this lower. Yeah, so much easier with the headers to get these once you've dropped the transmission a little. And we have the upper line as well. It should be everything. No, we have the headers to contend with. Didn't have these to contend with before. They're kind of getting in the way. But I am gonna do whatever it takes to shimmy this thing out because we are not messing with headers right now, I will tell you that much. These are the worst headers. They just get in the way of everything. You see what I'm working with right here, guys? This is great. It's like these headers were made to just hold the transmission in. There we go. Haha, headers, get out of here. Although that'll be super fun to get back together later. Here we are. Okay, there is one Ford automatic transmission. Let's go ahead and get it on the table and rip it all apart. Now we're going to this table here, so we have to go past a McLaren and right by the DeLorean. No pressure not to drop anything. All right, first things first, let us get our torque converter out. Our pink torque converter. Go. Okay, trans is down. First things first, we gotta get this pump out of here. We're gonna rip this thing apart, and the most important tool that we need here are these gigantic Champion brand sweatpants. So I get a lot of rags from people in the neighborhood, and I got these. I think this can soak up an entire transmission worth of fluid, so we're gonna go with that. Table is all cleaned up. We are ready to go. So let us begin. A couple sensors we are going to remove first. There we go. Don't want anything to get damaged. This one's actually not connected on our car any longer because this is a transmission from an older Mustang. But anyway, nylon gears, these could break. We'll get it out of the way. All right, this one does not want to come out. I have a feeling I'm gonna break it if I try any further, so we will disassemble with that in. But I do want to get the selector switch out. This just slides right over the shaft. We will put the bolts right in there. Go ahead and put this one back. We're gonna have to stay super organized. As you're about to see, the internal workings of a transmission is quite complicated. We don't want to mix anything up. All right, next up, I'm gonna remove this tail shaft housing. I'm gonna have to take the trans mount off. I thought I could take it as one unit, but it's blocking some stuff. Whew, all right. That was pretty frozen. There we go, 2 more 13s. Okay, here we go. Tail shaft coming off. This side had studs, so we're gonna go back together with those. These were on the bottom, these were on the side. Organization, people. All right, let's spin this guy around. A stainless table works really well for working on transmissions. Right now we're gonna remove the front pump. So it has a few bolts. These are heavily Loctited, Loctite there and there. So if you look here in the front pump, you can see it's threaded there and right there, and that's to fit a special tool. I don't actually have that special tool. I'm mostly just working with the Champion sweatpants, nothing left in the pockets. But I did discover that the bolts for the bell housing thread right in. So we're gonna kind of use this as part of a tool. And usually these front pumps are pretty well fitted in here, but we'll try and give it a little shimmy. Nope. And then I'm gonna use a slide hammer that I actually bought to get my Mercedes diesel fuel injectors out, if you guys remember that. I'm gonna see if this works. We're getting some fluid. That means we broke the seal. There we go. Woohoo! Don't need no stinking special tool. Sweet. All right, so basically that just gets hung up primarily on this seal right here. And there's a gasket, a couple other seals as well. So anyway, here is the front pump, the heart of the beast. Or is the converter the heart of the beast? I don't know. It's a dual heart setup on this one. All right, so next we have the inner workings. Lots and lots of clutch packs going on here. Okay, so a lot of times there's a snap ring here for the steels and frictions. You can see here, the frictions in the middle, but we don't have a snap ring. There we go, we can actually just pull this entire, oh, there's our band. There's our band. Put these back on. What are you doing, band? Nothing, just, you know, popping out and not holding anything. Well, it's in really good shape, so that's nice. Here we have a drum that we can remove as well. Gears are looking really good. Here is a snap ring right here. Let's see if I can just muscle this guy out. Yeah. Okay, snap ring coming out. Okay, so this is a gear that goes in between a planetary, and then we have a little shaft. Okay, hang on. Remember this intermediate shaft, as it plays a big part in this video. And did you guys notice the other half of it falling out? Yeah, neither did I when I took the trans apart. I'll put that right in here. Well, I figured out that the snap ring that I thought was broken when I was borescoping was actually the edge of the band. So when you take out this piston, that band kind of moves. So that's all that was. And these clutches are very, very burnt up. These are the first ones I took out. And just look at them. This is horrible, but I don't actually have a smoking gun reason as to why this happened. And also, why do we have no fourth gear at all? Even with clutches like that, it would try to grab a little bit. All right, so next I have to take this transmission pan back off. And I think we have to pop out a valve. All right. I believe we need to take out another servo piston next. So we can work this snap ring out. This guy's gonna have some pressure here as well. There we go. Okay, there we are. Okay, the seal also looks to be in pretty good condition. Has a spring there and another seal here, double sealed. We're gonna flip it over again. I always put the pan back on so we're not resting the transmission on any of this linkage. Flip it back. So there is a little anti-rattle spring right here, and I carved an R into the case so that we remember this lines up with rattle, anti-rattle. Now, this should come out. All right, so we have our planetary, and all of these gears look to be in really good condition. That's great. Nothing's broken off. Cool. Here we have another band. I'm gonna take out another clutch pack. Yeah, we don't see any friction material floating around in here. This looks good. And we have another snap ring here. I'm doing a full inspection, so I just want to take a look at the inside of the pump. Okay, there we go. So this is just like an engine oil pump. If you guys were around for the last Cobra video, you saw the internal workings of the engine oil pump. Same deal, and everything looks great in here. Again, the fluid is absolutely perfect, no grit or anything, so no reason to suspect that our transmission pump has an issue. So we'll just go ahead and put it right back together. All right, guys, it's actually about a month later, and I stopped working on the Cobra transmission because I never found a smoking gun, but I found clearly bad parts. And I brought someone in. I phoned a friend, a subscriber, actually reached out to me on email and said, hey, I've been building these transmissions for like 15 years. If you need any help, let me know. And I'm like, you know what? I do need help. I don't know why this is bad. So we have Jason. He came in all the way from Rochester, New York. And where do you work, Jason?
Redline transmission.
And you've been there for how long?
Probably about like
18 years.
And this is basically all you do is rebuild mostly
All I
these.
do.
And then
Rebuild these
also
and-
the GM ones too, right?
Yep, GM, Ford, Dodge, everything.
So all day long, he's got this in front of him. And I sent him some pictures. And yeah, he's like, hang on, I've been watching the show for a while. Let me fly out and see what we can figure out. So very, very grateful that Jason is here to kind of help me figure out what in the world is going on. So Jason just took this clutch pack apart, and I had not removed that snap ring yet. And look at this. These guys are all burnt, like really bad. Something got hot.
So this is your direct drum, which is applied in 3rd and 4th gear. And when Alex had taken the transmission apart before, he had also noticed these had gotten hot. This is your intermediate clutches. So something in this area between this drum here and the back half of the transmission is going on with a pressure loss that we want to try and figure out to make sure that we can correct this.
So right now we're trying to remove this shaft.
There's 3 sealing rings that ride on this output shaft here. Usually they'll be able to slide right out. If there's an issue back here, they would dig into this aluminum here, back part of the transmission. Being that this was like a drag car, hopefully there's no major damage back here.
But if there is, I mean, essentially the case is bad.
It would have to be recased, or they do make a sleeve where you can bore this out and re-sleeve it.
Okay.
And it would repair the bore.
Well, unfortunately, if that's the case, and Jason's only here for 2 days from New York, we'd be dead in the water. So let's, fingers crossed. Oh, it's coming out. All right. Please be okay. Please be okay. Please be okay.
So there's the broken sealing ring here. See how it's missing right there?
Oh, wow. Look at that.
And then if you look at the bottom one next to it, see how that snaps together like that?
Yeah, yeah. So that's supposed to snap together, but the other end of this one broke off. Wow. And then here we can see this one is good on the bottom.
So the bore is okay.
Whew. Got lucky there.
It's nice and smooth here.
Yeah, it's not gouged out at all. That's
Yep.
great.
So you should be all right.
Okay. So do you think that was probably it? That broke and caused a pressure loss?
For this particular drum, I want to also take apart this piston and see if usually these O-rings get really hard, and if the car sat for a while, it could also be what's going on. So we'll disassemble this drum and see if there's a broken O-ring in here.
Okay. So a theory I had on the engine, because it had a bunch of broken valves, was that they were drag racing it. Typically on a 4-speed trans, you're only going to 3rd gear in the quarter mile. And I'd always wondered, did it try to go into 4th and then it neutraled, essentially is what it was doing for me. It was just revving up, and then it revved to the moon, floated the valves, and they all smashed into the pistons, and that was it. So did the transmission take out the engine 20-something years ago at the track on the fastest Cobra in the world? It's a theory. We're using the hydraulic press here on the direct drum. We got to push that down, and then there's a snap ring that needs to be removed. This is so we can check those seals that Jason was talking about. Got it. There we go. So this right here is actually a ball joint tool. We just turned this into a Ford transmission tool though. There you go. Yeah, this is the seal. How does it look?
So this one looks a little flat, but
It's not hard though.
no.
It's still pretty springy.
And there's one in here.
From the looks of it, that one looks okay right now. It's,
Yeah, that one looks fine.
yeah, a lot of times these seals will get really hard. This looks fine. Looks decent, right?
Yeah, so this one's fine. So I'm just wondering if this broken ring here, there's also sealing rings in here. Does it look okay? Because these two in here, right on the inside of there,
Gotcha.
and that looks okay. There's no grooves or anything. I'm just wondering if there was just a pressure loss here with this broken ring that was causing blow-by and caused the rear clutches to get hot and lose pressure in 4th. So we'll clean it and put new rings on and build it up, and should be good to go.
This is that broken ring, and you can see it's been bad for a while because it's digging a groove right into it. Wow.
So I was just taking everything apart to clean everything up, and I just told Alex that I found the reason why this transmission had no 4th gear, and this is the issue right here.
No.
So this shaft here, it connects to this direct drum here, like this, and splines into the bottom here of the forward drum,
Oh, and it was just stuck in there like that.
and it sheared it. Oh. That's why you have no 4th gear.
Okay, I mean, like, that is awesome that we found the smoking gun, but there's no way that's in the kit.
No.
No. Oh.
Sometimes you might get lucky and if there's a Ford dealer open today, we might be able to get it.
Yeah.
Possibly. Or if there is maybe another transmission shop open, we could see if they have something laying
Okay.
around.
Okay, I'm gonna get on the phone right now. I got a trans shop right now that might have one.
I don't. I don't. I used the last hardened one I had.
Oh, do you have a regular one?
I don't, but I am going to a supplier this afternoon to get some parts. He might have one. If you want me to see if I can get you one.
Oh man, I mean that'd be amazing. Or do you know if any of the other Amcos might have one in stock?
You can try around. It
Okay.
all depends. I would try the one in Cicero. He's old school. He keeps a lot of old stuff.
Okay, perfect. I'll call them and then I'll give you a ring back. I appreciate it.
You got it.
Thanks, man. Okay, bye.
You got it. Bye.
I gotta say, you guys give me, a lot of crap sometimes for living in Chicago. There's a lot of stuff in Chicago, okay? The fact that this guy knew right away, I didn't start recording, but he's like, oh yeah, the little one in the middle of the trans? Yeah. He's like, hang on, I think I got a hardened one. And then he didn't. But there might be another guy, an old school guy. I'm calling him right now. The old school guy is closed.
Amco, can I help you?
Yeah, hey, this is Alex. I just called about the intermediate shaft.
Yes, sir.
You know what, the other place is closed. Do you think you could see if you can grab me one of those on your run today?
I'm going to. I'm just actually calling right now to see if he is in today.
Oh, okay.
Give me a call back in about 20 minutes.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
You got it.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye. All right, we'll continue on. We got a ton of cleaning to do. I got this really heavy tail shaft I'm bringing over to the wash bay. Oh, there's Jason just manhandling the entire transmission. They say it's funny, the transmission is a very heavy part of your car, but when it's gutted, it's pretty light. And we're gonna be degreasing the entire transmission right now. This is just some AMSOIL engine degreaser, which you can also use on a transmission. We're gonna spray it down, make it look pretty. But realistically, what we're doing here is just making sure that there isn't anything broken, like a piece of C-clip that fell off somewhere into the intricacies of the transmission case. So we're gonna clean this up real nice. And I'm just gonna hit this with water. Whew. I think I can make a pretty cool detail video on a transmission. How to detail a transmission. There's not a lot of firsts on YouTube, but that I think would be a first. That is too cool. This is so much fun. I love it. Transmission's all cleaned up. Now we just have to blow out everything with air.
Thanks for calling Amco in Oak Park. This is Michael.
Hey, Michael, this is Alex. I'm not sure if I spoke with you, but I was checking on an intermediate shaft.
Yeah, I think it was Mark. Give me 1 second, okay?
Okay, thanks. Please, Mark. Please, Mark. I thought I was so prepared. I had Monster Transmissions send me literally everything, like their whole rebuild kit, but this isn't like a common failure. Would have never thought of this. And I didn't see it as far as I stripped the transmission down. I didn't see it. Can never be too prepared.
Alex,
Yes, Mark.
how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How are you?
All right. Fortunately, the guy is not in today. He went to his son's baseball game, so he's not open today.
No.
But, I mean, unfortunately, if you can wait till Monday, I can get you on Monday if you want to wait. That's up to you.
It's kind of hard to explain, Mark, but I filmed videos. I mean, it's not that hard to explain. I filmed videos on fixing cars, and I had a specialist fly in from New York for 2 days. And we had everything for this transmission, and then we found this broken shaft. So, like, we're in, like, a super bind to get this, like, right now.
All right, I'll tell you what. Hold on a minute. Tell you what. Let me call my son's shop
Okay.
and see. I'm almost sure my son's got one. Let me give him a call and see if he can go dig one up. I'm sure he's got one. He's got a bunch of units taken apart over there.
Oh, my gosh. That would be amazing. I'll buy you a deep dish pizza.
All right, give me a call back in about 30 minutes.
Will do. Thank you.
You got it.
Okay, bye. Oh my God, my heart is like pounding right now. This is crazy. This is like such make or break right now. We got a ton of more, work to do obviously before we need that part. So we're just gonna keep on trucking. And Jason's already removed some of these older seals. And yeah, here we are. What's next, Jason?
Clean everything up and then start reassembly.
Okay.
We need to come up with something to push this down here.
Oh, we got plenty of ball joint
One more ball
press
joint
tools.
tool.
And I would just like to say that I believe that transmissions, look at all of these parts. I mean, look at that. I'm almost positive that they were invented by aliens. Like they came down, they built the pyramids and then they're like, hang on, let me give you transmissions, automatic transmissions. They invented this. And now we have people like Jason that can rebuild these like with their eyes closed. It's just amazing. We have a socket and a ball joint tool. That's now a Ford specialty transmission tool. Woo! All right, that is a monster of a spring right there. Look at that. Jeez.
Those are all good, like brand new.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, the transmission probably has very low mileage. So right now we're spraying out the valve body with some brake clean, just making sure everything is totally mint before it goes back together. I'm driving to Mark's son's shop. I don't know 100% if they have it. He said he'd know in an hour, and it's like 45 minutes away. I'm like, I'm just gonna risk it and head out. He said he's 99% sure he has it, and we just don't have time. So while I was on the road, Jason assembled all the clutches, so in the steels and friction go. The new transmission pump is getting fresh seals, and he took the valve body apart to inspect and replace more gaskets. Here are the miles on the Ford Taurus. If you guys placed your guess on when the PTU was gonna blow up, it hasn't blown up yet. I think that was the most comments I've ever had on one thing was in this last Ford Taurus video. I asked you guys when the PTU, what exact mileage it was gonna blow up. Go look at that video, guys. I'll link it down below and look at the comment section. It's insane, and go ahead and place your guesses down there. Whoever guesses the closest is gonna get an awesome LegitStreetCars.com care package with a bunch of cool detail stuff. This is gonna be my luck. I'm gonna get this part, and then my PTU is gonna blow up. That's probably what's gonna happen. All right, here we are. Champion Transmission in Aurora, Illinois. Wait a minute, is that the thing on the door? Oh, this is hilarious. I just got a text from him. He said he's going to the store, but he left it here. Hang on. And this is the hardened one as well, which is great, so it'll hold up to the power. And get this, guys, I messaged him, what do I owe you? He says, don't worry about it, brother. That's it. But here's the thing, I brought money and I brought them gifts, and I gotta leave this. I don't know when they're gonna be back, so I'm gonna hide the money in here in the foam cannon. Here we go. All right, so we got a legit StreetCars foam cannon, our newer gray hats, and the best shop wipes in the world. And you know what? I'm gonna put a $100 bill in a few of these tubs to surprise one of you guys. If you order right now at LegitStreetCars.com, you might get $100 with your shop wipes. And you know what? I'm gonna put some in the foam cannons too. So order up a foam cannon, you might get $100. I found a Honda Odyssey minivan on the side of their shop. It looks like they're doing a little bit of work. There it is, Mark. I hope no one looks in this Honda Odyssey before Mark gets back. If they do, I hope they have a pressure washer at least for the foam cannon. You need one of those. Hang on, I had another one of these in the trunk of the show. I keep these in my cars as well. They're awesome for that. If you guys need to clean anything real quick, you got yourself some wipes. Because Mark's dad, he might need some shop wipes too. So there you go, Mark's dad. We got it. We got it. And it's the hardened one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's all a darker color
Yeah, definitely.
than the other one, so it's nice and hardened, and that should hold up nice.
There we go.
Beautiful.
And guys, every other part that we're putting in this is an upgrade as well. I got the Monster Transmission Master Rebuild Kit. I forget what they call it, but it includes everything, including their awesome new torque converter. And they sell full transmissions. They sell rebuild kits. They're amazing. I've gotten some parts from them in the past, so I'll link them down below. But we're gonna have a fully built Cobra transmission. It's not a Cobra transmission, but you know what I mean, by one of the best guys around. So as you guys saw, Jason put together most of the internals of the transmission. All the new clutches and steels are in, and you know, he's done this so many times. This was done in about an hour and a half.
This monster kit is a very nice kit. It very, very complete. It came with all the bushings, all the clutches, the choline steels, all the sealing rings. I mean, solenoids, everything. This was a very complete kit.
And he put most of that kit together in that hour and a half that I was gone going to get the shaft. Pretty cool. We have built a transmission stand out of 2 wheels that came in the trunk of my Buick Grand National. It fits perfectly because we need something that will go all the way through for the output shaft. You just got to work with what you got.
Washer.
Get the output shaft going in, all cleaned up. So that's the output shaft, and then would that be called the output drum then?
It's just a shaft in the. This is the ring gear that the planetaries run on right now.
Okay.
This is the direct drum going in.
And Jason, you got to definitely sign this transmission. See right where your hand is? Someone else wrote something there and the date, 2001.
A lot of builders do. They'll sign their trannies. So just a spacer.
All right, so Jason, you build Ford and GM transmissions. Just generally speaking, I know there's a lot of different ones. Which are better?
Right now, at this point in time, the Chrysler transmissions are better.
Wait, they're better?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I was not expecting that. Everybody always says bad things about Chrysler transmissions.
It depends if it's a rear or front wheel drive. Chrysler front wheel drives are terrible. Chrysler rear wheel drives are good. Ford 6-speed, 8-speed trannies are very good. Their front wheel drive trannies are terrible. Chevy trannies, all the 6L80s and the 6L90s are horrible. That's all I do every day. There's so many of them.
But hold on, I thought the GM 6L80s and 90s, they're strong transmissions, like they hold up to power.
So
But what are the big issues?
the issue is the cylinder deactivation. Because the cylinders shut off, it puts too much stress on the torque converter, and the torque converter comes apart and shoots metal throughout the pump, which is part of the bell housing, as you can see the one on the bench there. Fine metal shoots throughout it and basically takes out the transmission.
Okay, so another reason why active fuel management stinks. I did not know that at all. I mean, I knew why it was horrible because it takes out engines, but it takes out transmissions too. Definitely deactivate. I mean, it's an emissions thing. You're supposed to get better mileage. Don't deactivate it at all. Leave it alone. Wait, what do you think of the Ford Taurus show transmission?
That one is good. It's basically the same tranny as the GM big 6T70 transmissions, which they run in like the Traverses and.
Okay, my Ford Taurus show transmission's doing pretty good. Almost 156,000 miles. The PTU though, not doing good.
Definitely a lot of those. Now, if it was an escape transmission, different story.
Those are bad.
Well, it's not that the transmission is bad; it's the torque converters go bad.
You know what the fix for all of this is? Manual transmissions.
That's true.
We'll just put manuals in everything. I'm sure the general public would love that.
So this is the planetary assembly, and I'm just making sure it's in place, and you'll know when it clinks in like that.
Okay. You just use this as a tool.
I did.
We needed it for multiple reasons.
This is the shell. This is the input drum and reverse drum assembly. That's when you know it's in, because you can hear a nice firm clunk. If you were to clunk it and you feel resistance, that would mean that all the clutches aren't aligned. So you'd have to take it up and double check it.
That's definitely one of those experience things right there.
Yeah.
You got to know the right sound of the clunk. So now we're going back together with our band. We're working with whatever we can. We're actually going to use the broken off stub as a tool. Normally Jason would have a special tool for this, but we screwed in one of the trans bolts.
Let me get in here
Here, sorry. And I'm going to use this as kind of a fulcrum point here to push down on the spring.
There you go.
Like that. And he's going to get the snap ring in there. This actually works pretty well. Jason, you might want to consider just doing this in the shop. Forget the right tools.
Down a little more.
Oh, there we go. Beautiful. Look at that. I'm saving this. I'll use it again one day. We're talking about food. It's getting to be lunchtime.
Yeah.
And Jason's telling me about, what is it? It's a hot sauce, but it's got meat in it?
A meat hot. Rochester's known for their meat hot. There's a restaurant called Nick Tahoe's that they call it a garbage plate. And it's basically, a late night meal after you've been out at the bar all night long. And it's macaroni salad, home fries. You can either get hot dogs, Zweigel hots, hamburgers, or beans. And they put this meat hot, ketchup, mustard, onion, everything all in one plate. They topple it all in one plate.
That sounds really good.
It's not really good for you.
No,
but
it's
very, very
It's usually
good.
the best stuff.
Yeah. These are the intermediate clutches from Monster with the choline steels. Now, a lot of guys soak their clutches. Some I do, some I don't. Because we're going to be installing this tranny afterwards, we're not going to be beating on it like that. So
So you mean that people just soak them in transmission fluid?
yeah, they usually
Yeah.
will soak them for a period of time.
Okay.
I usually don't. I've never really had a problem. Everybody's different. Every builder does different things.
Well, we're going to be putting this in the Mustang like right away and then filling it with trans fluid. So it's kind of the same thing, I guess.
Very quickly.
And we are using Vaseline, not the cheap stuff, the CVS petroleum jelly, exact same thing. And he's using that to lubricate pretty much everything inside of here, and then it's going to dissolve. They do sell a special assembly lube for transmissions and engines and all sorts of different things, but I think at the end of the day, it's petroleum jelly.
The same thing,
It's the same thing. Oh my gosh, this is so great. I'm gonna have my table back. Yes! So Monster sent out a brand new pump as well. We have a new torque converter. I mean, everything is gonna be brand new and upgraded in this transmission to hold all of the power. Beautiful. So we're going from a pink torque converter to the gold. I got that gold converter to match the gold parts on the DeLorean. Yeah, I'm just kidding. It came like that. I think it's called like the Thor converter or something like that. So we have our pump bolts. We're gonna do a little dab of Loctite. There you are.
Thank you.
Going in. So for me, it's been like a month since I took that out. For you guys, it's just been a few minutes, but now I'm starting to remember how hard it was to pull that out. It was a beast. Use a slide hammer and stuff, but yeah, went in a lot easier. You guys aren't gonna believe Jason's story and how we got started. I'm gonna have him tell it. It's pretty awesome. There we go. All right, we're doing our trick again, except this time we need something a little taller, so we're using a socket. All right, going down. There we go.
So you have your 1-2 accumulator. This is your overdrive apply piston for the band. This is reverse piston right here. And this is for 2-3.
Valve body going in. Just like that.
And make sure your manual valve is lined up.
There we go. And we wanted to be super prepared, so Jason actually had a fresh valve body shipped out just in case we needed it. I tried to get as many parts out here as humanly possible before he flew out. And then this. We didn't think of this because it's really not that common for this to go bad, but whew. A ton of bolts that hold the valve body together. If you guys remember on the GTR, like the valve body was like 3 bolts. No, I think it was like 4. It was not many.
Okay.
Cool. All right. That's done.
This is the temperature sensor.
Oh, and we get a new one in the Monster kit?
Yeah.
Whoa. That's nice. Satisfying clicks. Well, that wasn't that good. There we go. No. It's 2 out of 4 clicks were satisfying. The other 2 were rubbish. And we have a new transmission filter, a new pan gasket, and our gigantic trans pan with these cooling fins, which I don't believe do anything at all. I've always thought this is kind of a scam, but there they are. All right, we're tightening all of these by hand. And now we have the tail shaft housing going back on, new gasket. And this right here is a vent at the top. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this thing is all put back together. That took roughly like 4 hours. It's not done yet though. We need an autograph. I'm thinking we just go right over.
Today's date is?
It is the 11th. Or no, it's 5. Hold on, are we in May? Yeah, May 11th. There we go. That's awesome. Oh man, all right, cool. Let's get this thing in. Or actually, hang on. I have like a header paint that would work really nice on this, and I know no one's gonna see it, but you know I like painting stuff. Let's see what this would look like. Oh, that looks great. Okay, that looks really good. All right, guys, I'm just gonna paint this real quick, just right here. I should probably mask some stuff off. All right, I masked off a few areas, and we already degreased this entire transmission over in the wash bay. Oh, this is gonna be a really nice and quick transformation, like literally right in front of your eyes. I forgot to mask off that connector. That's okay. Instead of being white, it'll be silver. Oh, this is so satisfying, guys. Yep, you're getting it too, tail shaft housing. While the paint is drying on the Cobra transmission, I'm going to the daddy-daughter dance. So it is Saturday. We're working on this transmission on Saturday and Sunday, and I never work on the weekends. I worked really weird shifts for like 10 years. I missed some time with my kids, and I said never again, except every once in a while something like this happens, but I fit it all in. So it's daddy-daughter dance time. And of course, both of my daughters love the E55 AMG wagon. That is their favorite car, and they're all the way in the back. So this is going to be awesome. And yeah, I'm gonna take off right now, have a great time, and then tomorrow's more transmission stuff. What's your favorite car, girls?
The wagon!
I had a subscriber send me this out. It's not exactly the E55, but it's pretty close, and it stays back here. All right, here we go, people.
Come on, Daddy, we gotta go.
Okay. All right, it's the next morning. We are back at it. Daddy-daughter dance was amazing. Kind of like this transmission. Look at this beauty. So this is what it looked like before. Just pretty dirty, kind of rough. And this is after being degreased. And this is what it looks like after. Nice and silver and pretty and ready to shift gears in that. It is transmission jack time. We'll lower this thing. There we go. All right, ready? Yep. It's just a little heavier. Before we install the converter, we're gonna get a little bit of fluid in there. Drink up. All right, our monster converter is going in. And we're gonna turn this so it sets back properly. Actually, I think that might be a gold converter, people. Transmission coming in hot, coming in hot. Stop! Okay, too far. Oh, this is so easy. There's no exhaust.
Way easier.
Little easier than the CL. You can see we have one of the holes for the flex plate for the torque converter facing straight down. We've lined that up with the converter, so it's easy to get that first one in. We're going in, foot pedal style. We'll start aiming it in this general direction. Okay, bell housing is lined up with the dowels. I got a bolt all the way up there. Okay, that's started. All right, transmission is installed. We've torqued all of the bell housing bolts. It's converter bolt time. We got a little Loctite. And you can see here, there's a hole so we can access where these go through. Thank you, Ford. Now I've torqued every converter bolt, and I like to put some white marks on it like this. T for torqued, or Tony. It's Tony, actually. There we go. Shout out to all the Tonys. Sorry about the O. I'll try and fix it. Oh, okay, that's Tony. Jason's working on the starter bolts. I'm gonna get the drive shaft installed. It's going past our drive shaft safety loop. Past it. Not stuck in it. There we go. Nice. With the transmission in park, we can tighten up all of the rear drive shaft bolts. There's Loctite in these. We're doing the old double wrench leverage trick. Trans cross member going in. Transmission is all done outside of fluid. This is a temporary narrowband O2 sensor because the car, when I bought it, had that custom engine management system with only one wideband that was screwed in right here. So once we get the exhaust put on, we'll drill in another bung right there. But let's go fill it with fluid and see if it shifts. Jason, you think it's gonna shift?
Oh, it's gonna shift.
It's gonna shift.
It's definitely gonna shift.
Jason says it's gonna shift. It's gonna shift. All right, I've added some transmission fluid, not all of it yet. We wanna start it up and kind of get it circulating, and then we'll keep on adding and checking. This has 2 transmission coolers and a deeper pan, so we don't know exactly the capacity. And I still have the oil pressure gauge on the bottom here just to verify we're still good there. If you guys remember, this thing was blowing up oil filters because of super high pressure. Whoa! All right, stop. The oil filter just pushed right out. All right, stop. And I had to clean out the bypass valve, and that fixed it, but I'm gonna watch it for like the next 20 starts. All right, fire in the hole, Jason. There we go. Runs good. Oh, I say that, it idles down, okay. It isn't fully tuned, remember? Oil pressure's looking good though. Before it was maxing the gauge out like crazy. No leaks, no nothing. We just ran it through the gears really quick, shut it off. Now I'm gonna add some more fluid and we'll start over. All right guys, it's about 3 hours later and I have taken a massive turn for the worst. I have a fever, it's like 103. I feel like death. I was a little tired this morning, but I was still moving. I'm like, whatever. And it wasn't from last night, daddy-daughter dance. I drink like twice a year, definitely not on daddy-daughter dance night. So it's not that, I'm just like, I'm sick. And Jason has been an absolute champ. Check out what we ran into. We found the stub here in the torque converter to be damaged. Look at that. It must have happened in shipping or something like that and we didn't notice it, but this was rubbing on the flex plate. I'm telling you, I have never been hit like this before. I was shivering. I had to go outside in my Taurus because I was so cold and it's like 80 degrees out and I was still cold. He just did the entire transmission again by himself. It was awesome. Jason, I would high five you right now, but I am deathly ill, so we're gonna stay very far away right now.
Yep.
And let's get back into this. I definitely do not want to get Jason sick. He is running a transmission business starting again tomorrow. We have to be at the airport in 1 hour, but I gotta give him the glory of this thing shifting. Fire in the hole. There she is. And we'll put this in drive now. And hopefully, yep, we don't hear anything. That's good. Let's drive. Moving. Drive reverse. Yeah. Got it. It's curing me right now seeing this happen. Let's see if it'll shift. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. We got all the windows open. I'm wearing a mask, okay? I feel so bad. Cannot wait to go to sleep. All right, guys, before we did not have 4th gear. Here we go. That's 2. That's 3. Come on, baby. Yeah, we got it. Oh my gosh, that's great. That's awesome. It shifted into 4th. Did the converter lock up too? I thought the converter might have locked up.
It locked up.
Yeah, it locked up, and I thought those wires were disconnected because they put like a manual lock up in here, but I did rewire the whole factory ECU, so that works. Good job, Jason! Oh my gosh, it's so loud. We need an exhaust on this car bad. This is awesome, dude.
This is great.
This is right in time to get you to O'Hare.
Now I gotta go to the airport.
Yeah.
And go home.
This did not go as planned. I didn't want to get sick, and we're supposed to go out, get some deep dish pizza. I thought we'd be done with this like 4 hours ago, and again, I wouldn't be sick, but yeah, sometimes things don't go as planned, like the story of that car. But I am hoping this will be different. The engine sounds great. It runs great. It still needs to be tuned and needs an exhaust, but it shifts, it locks up, and I cannot wait to do the detail video on this. It's probably the most scratched up car I've ever had, but the clear coat is still good. The transformation is gonna be insane. All right, guys, that will do it for Jason. I'm gonna bring him to the airport right now. I would normally give him a gigantic hug, but I will pass along whatever the world I just got in the last 24 hours. So this thing shifts. This guy's awesome. The Marks, senior and junior, that hooked me up with our intermediate shaft, awesome. The car community is just amazing nationwide. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Leave your business linked down below. And just briefly, Jason, can you just tell us how you kind of got started at the transmission store?
I was 19 and working at a detail shop, and I had a 92 Camaro, and I wanted a shift kit. So I brought it to the nearest transmission shop, and the guy says, hey, you detail cars, I'll shift kit your car for you if you detail my truck. So I detailed his truck, and he put a shift kit in my car, and when I picked up my car, he was alone. So I said, hey, is this hard to do? And he said, nah, if you learned right. And so I asked him to basically start with him, and I started as an apprentice, and 6 months later I could work underneath the car by myself and kind of progressed from there. And it's always learning new things, always.
Yeah, so started with zero transmission internal knowledge, like nothing.
Zero.
And worked his way up by getting trained. This is very similar to the tuning twins who were basically pushing a broom at AMS, and now they're tuning 6-second GTRs. So I like to take a minute to kind of recognize hard work, and his story, Jason's story, is just absolutely amazing. He is a whiz with these transmissions. It was really cool to see. So I hope you guys enjoyed Jason in this video. Hopefully we'll see him soon. Well, the Mustang is back on the lift, but not for anything bad. I want to get the exhaust on. And OJ at Fluid Motor Union is busy with my GTR exhaust, so we're just going to go ahead and reinstall what came on the car. I did spray paint it silver with some header paint, so it's not going to come off or anything. It looks decent. It definitely needs a little bit of work, but this is essentially what I wanted for the car anyway. I just wanted to duplicate the early 2000s race car exhaust where it just dumps and there's no tailpipe. So I'm just gonna go back together with this for now. All right, I finally get to remove this narrowband sensor setup, temporary, and go to something more like that. And that's because I had a traditional bung welded in. There we go. All right, there we go. Got the trans jack ready again. Didn't think we'd see you again, but we are seeing you again. You're helping a lot. Rise up. We're gonna do a gasket with my favorite copper RTV. All right, this is never gonna leak. It'll come apart easily as well. It's just a great solution. Some of you guys have commented, Alex, just put a gasket on it, because I do this for turbo manifolds and everything. Guys, it's just one of those things that it has worked for me every single time for like 20 years. I don't see any downside, so I just keep doing it. It works well. It's a good little tip. And a lot of people in the race car community do the same thing. But if you want to get a gasket, go ahead. It's a free country. Do what you want, people. Do what you want, but I'm copper RTV-ing exhaust stuff. I do use gaskets too. It just depends. Like a nice metal exhaust gasket works really well for an exhaust manifold, like factory stuff, you know? I have some new exhaust hardware for the old Cobra. There we go. Tightening up the hardware by hand. It's really hard to get any sockets in here. Okay. And in the back we have a couple of hangers, some rubber isolators. All right, that's it. Exhaust is bolted up. Oh, we got an O2 sensor. Screw this guy in, clickety clack. Flange bolts are tight. And I gotta say, there's just something cool about some old school Flowmasters dumped right before the axle. It's not really anything I'm particularly into, but I'm keeping this a period correct restoration. I want it to be just like it was back when it was the fastest Cobra in the world. And well, this is how they ran the exhaust. Okay, you guys wanna hear something awesome? That is what I'm talking about, dual Flowmasters on a Mustang, and this thing is running so good. And now that it's a little bit quieter, you can hear that blower a lot more. Oh, it's the perfect balance though. I love it. Let's go for a ride. Traction control kicks on. Oh man, this stall converter, it's aggressive. That is for sure, but this trans is perfect. And now it is way quieter. Like you can drive this car. Hang on, let's roll the windows up. Look at these 17,000 mile Ford window regulators. There's a car blocking me. Come on, dude. Just means we get another little mini launch. Can't go too crazy. It just lights them up. It's awesome. And we have drag radials. Oh, this is the best. Oh man, I am driving. This is for real. This is kind of like my first real drive, guys. It's a real car again. It is really a real car now. I mean, we are shifting through all gears, lock-up torque converter, exhaust is on. Oh, and the stereo pounds. It's got the Mach 460 from back in the day, and there's an original ludicrous CD in the changer, and it works. I mean, it's like the real CD. And man, I wish we didn't have like copyright stuff. It's basically just a bunch of Luda. Just turning onto the road in my Cobra. Man, can you imagine the streets of the year 2000? Like what was out, man? I remember that stuff. It was a lot of these, a lot of Fox bodies too. They weren't that old. A lot of LT1 cars. And then in the mid 2000s, it was me and my WS6. But this, man, the Cobras, I liked them too. I liked them all. It does not get much better than this. Guys, look at this. Luda! Speaking of the year 2000, look what just pulled up behind me. Some dude cruising around a C5. It's on CCWs too. Oh, sounds good too. It is the year 2000. Maybe I don't need a DeLorean. This is my time machine now. That's awesome. I wonder what this guy's doing. Guys, this thing just wants to rip, especially with these drag radials. It's just, wah! It's going crazy, but I can't beat on it yet. We're not tuned. And did you guys see the C5? And that C5 is so cool. He's making a couple little leisurely at idle drives too. He's a responsible young fella. Guys, check this out. With the drag suspension, I mean, it just gets into like a cheetah stance, ready to rip, man. Ho-ho! All right, guys, as you can tell, I'm getting a little excited. This is probably time to put it away because we have to get this thing tuned. I really cannot go anywhere near wide open throttle right now, or we could blow up our nice new forged engine, and I don't want anything else blowing up on the Cobra. I don't know why I use that word. I'm just gonna knock on all sorts of different materials, but I'm a happy camper. This thing shifts, it runs great. Everything so far is awesome. So I think in the next video, we're gonna be ready for the dyno tune, and I am, guys, I gotta say, I really wanna buff this whole car out. I think I might just do the whole detail and dyno in the next video and wrap up the whole Cobra. I don't know, getting ahead of myself, but I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Share the video with your friends and anyone that loves Fords and Cobras and cool cars and 90s and 2000s stuff. Anyway, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see all of you in the next video. I gotta say, for having a deep pan, I gotta say for having a deep okay. All right, where's that? But I do have a the rest of the transmission is now gonna be upgraded, and we're upgrading the rest of the monster transmissions. They sell rebuild kits. They sell it. He had to take the transmission out. He took. He did. We. All right, Jason. If you hear me yelling and screaming, shut it off. Okay. Max, this will be a voiceover. I guess you'll probably figure that out by the fact that I'm gonna point the camera there and there. And that's definitely not the video. I really like these snap together tiles. I'm just kidding. Still not the video.